listeners. This is your pop culture maven, Jeff Malone, and you're listening to a Karaoke Korner mini episode of That's Auntertainment. It's been a few months since we've done a Karaoke Korner, but there are some people I wanted to get some suggestions from, and here we are. Okay, so on Karaoke Korner, here's what happens. It's the 38th edition, so thank you for tuning in if this is your first time. Thank you for being a loyal listener if this is your 38th time. So what I do is I ask someone for a little help. I say, hey, can you come up with the names of like 3 musical artists, popular, like ones who have recorded songs and released them publicly. And then here's what I'm going to do with that list. I'm going to go through their discographies and determine, excuse me, I bumped into my microphone, and determine the best songs for each of those artists to sing at karaoke. And the way I do that is, here's my criteria for that. I'm looking for a song that's familiar, but not too familiar, because you want the crowd to go, oh, hey, I like that song, and I haven't heard it in a while. I wonder how this person is going to perform it. And you also want a song with emotional highs and lows. And also musical highs and lows. That's nice if you can manage that as well. That's a bonus. And yeah, because that sort of quality, it'll take your audience on a journey. So who has provided me with some songs this time around? Well, it's none other than my sister-in-law, Erin. And what artists did she select, you may ask? Well, I'm about to tell you. She gave me Madonna, Dolly Parton, and Smash Mouth. Okay. Well, I'm going to do these in order of difficulty. Easiest to hardest. And the easiest to select among those 3, well, it was a legend. We all love her. Is there anyone who doesn't love this woman? Miss Dolly Parton. And yeah, so what did I select as the best Dolly Parton song to perform at karaoke? So I want a song that can work for the greatest number of singers possible. That works for as many vocal styles as possible, as wide a range as vocal ability as possible. That accessibility is also a factor, in addition to the other criteria I mentioned earlier. And Dolly she's recorded plenty of songs. She's been around for what? She's making music for what, like 60 years? Something like that. Maybe close to 70 at this point. So she's plenty of songs to choose from, but there was only one that I could select as my official choice, and that is a little song called Jolene off the 1973 album of the same name. Actually, 1974, excuse me. Album of the same name. Okay, yeah, so, I go to my favorite karaoke bar, Baby Grand in Manhattan, quite a bit, and, I don't think I've ever heard anyone sing this song there. And it feels like it should be. Maybe I'm just maybe it is in other karaoke bars. Maybe it is in Nashville, perhaps, or throughout Dolly's native Tennessee. Maybe they're singing all of her songs in the karaoke bars down there. But it's got energy. It's a country song, but it has rock star energy. It tells a story, and you can easily imbue it with the necessary attitude. So there you go. Now on to Smash Mouth with their recently departed lead singer Steve Harwell. He passed away last fall, at the age of just 56. They had a moment in the late 90s and early 2000s. They certainly did, when ska rock was doing its thing. And but which of those hits is the best song for karaoke? And I do like to, as I mentioned up at the top, I like to pick songs that are familiar but not too familiar. But in some instances, it makes the most sense to pick the more or less obvious choice. So I did my due diligence to go, do I want to pick something besides this band's biggest hit? And I was like, maybe this one, could be that one, but ultimately, you know what? All Star is just an undeniable winner. I can't think of any situation where that song has started playing where anyone in the crowd was not happy with it. It just puts, everyone starts singing along, everyone is happy, it's always welcome, and there you go. And it's the lyrics are kind of interesting. There's plenty to chew on over there. You got the hole in the satellite picture, and I could use a little change myself. What a concept. So there you go. Plenty to chew on. But as an honorable mention, don't sleep on Walking in the Sun. That's a good backup if your heart is set on Smash Mouth, but someone's already sung All Star. Finally, we come to Madonna. Oh boy, oh my God, Madonna she's been around for decades. She's had multiple eras. How could I boil it down to just one selection? And this is definitely one of those artists where I have to give the caveat, there's not only one Madonna song that works at karaoke. I'm just trying to pick the best one. And even though I am quite confident in my selection, that doesn't mean it's super duper far away from all the other possible choices. There's if you're going to do Madonna karaoke, you shouldn't do this song over and over again. It's just like, if you're put in a situation where you're the only person singing Madonna, that's your assignment for the karaoke night, and you got to pick one. And you're like, I want to make it as good as possible. I want to make an impression. There's probably a few songs, maybe even several, that can make it work. But the one that I settled on as the most reliable, the most likely to pull off that accomplishment, is a little song that was released right at the start of a certain decade, off of the soundtrack from the movie Dick Tracy, which had a name of its own. The soundtrack album of that movie was called I'm Breathless. And this song, I don't know if people know that factoid about this song. I certainly didn't before I was just reading it a second ago. This is a very famous song. One of the biggest hits of her career. One of the most iconic. I'm talking about Vogue. Were you striking a pose when I said it? I'm sure you are now. And oh man, that intro, it really promises something. I like a song at karaoke that has some an instrumental intro that guides you and sets the mood for everyone, and lets people gradually realize, oh, here comes this song. And Vogue has one of those intros. And oh man, that third verse when she's listing all those people's names, that's fun. anyone can list a bunch of names while singing at karaoke. What a great idea. It opens it up to the masses, doesn't it? But yeah, this, it's some steady singing during the verses, and then bursts of energy during the choruses. Classic song construction that lends itself so well to karaoke. And, this, out of all of the songs that Madonna has given us to sing along to, this one is like the platonic ideal. So there you go. Karaoke Korner 38 is on the books. Read 'em and weep. And I'll probably have another Karaoke Korner coming up in the not too distant future. And some other good fun. And maybe a What's Jeff Watching. Probably a March Madness recap. Aunt Beth and I will be talking about Young Sheldon sometime soon. Happy Easter. And keep your remotes handy and your Easter baskets open.
Somebody